Hi guys, welcome back to Colorado Garden Adventures. I'm Jacelyn. Today I'm going to do a quick garden tour video. I haven't done a whole lot in the garden the last couple weeks because it's been so hot, but I did want to do a garden tour because a lot has changed. So starting over in the side garden, the zucchini is still doing great. The two that I showed on a previous garden tour are ready to be picked, so I'll pick those today. Oh, we have a bee. There's, it's hard to see, but there's one back in there, right there, and there's one over here. And then the cucumbers are doing good. They've started to climb up the fence. And then I got a hibiscus last week, so it's not looking super great, but it is probably still in shock. I'm hoping that it'll recover. And then we have the butter crunch lettuce, some tomatoes, and then the red fire lettuce, and a jalapeno pepper. And then the Swiss chard is looking great. I could probably pick some of that if I wanted to right now. And then the straw flower. And this is the artichoke back here. It was planted over where the hibiscus is, but the hibiscus gets very large, and the artichoke I didn't think was going to make it this year, so I thought I would try transplanting it, but it obviously did not go well. So we'll try again next year. This is the strawberry blonde calendula, and then my rose bush. And then over here we have the chocolate mint, and then pineapple mint, sweet mint, and then all the potatoes. So these ones over here in the back are looking pretty sad. I think those are about ready to be harvested. And then my pink lemonade blueberry and a weed. But the blueberry is coming back very well, so hopefully that'll get big enough to produce next year. Over in the back garden we have some beans and my moss rose, and it's starting to spread. That's good. Moss rose is a ground cover, so hopefully it'll take over and come back each year. And then my purple Cherokee tomato, and then let's see, I think that's all that's in this bed besides asparagus and weeds. And then back here we have a bunch of beans coming up. There's some nasturtiums over here. I don't know if they're gonna do anything this year. They've been that large for a while and not produced anything, so we'll see what happens. I did want to show you guys something super exciting over in the beans. We have a couple beans that are ready to be pulled. So these are the purple, I think burgundy bush beans. And then there's some Blue Lake bush beans over here. So those will hopefully be ready. Well, they are ready to be pulled, but I'm gonna try to wait until there's quite a few that are ready so that I can actually do something with them. This is the bed that's next to the green beans. So I have my lilies that need to probably be tied up, and then some sunflowers. This is my miniature rose, so it's doing really well. And this one I had inside in a little pot, and it was almost dead. It got spider mites and killed pretty much everything. So I brought it outside and planted it in hopes that it would come back from the roots. And that's only been maybe like 2 months at the very most. So I'm really happy with how it's doing. And then these are the mums back here that I thought were coneflower. And then some marigolds coming up, some beautiful sunflowers, and some more sunflowers to come. And then my cilantro is looking really sad. I need to get that out of the ground. And then over in my herb patch, I need to do something with the chamomile. I think I'm gonna rip out some and cut it back. I can't keep up with how much chamomile it's producing, so I think I'm just gonna get rid of some of that. It'll come back, it'll seed out this next year, so I'll have more than I know what to do with yet again next year. The marigolds are doing amazing over here. These are wonderberries that came up. And then I think this is some more cilantro. This is a slow bolt cilantro. This is a new kind of cilantro that I tried this year. So I have not gotten a chance to get anything off of it because by the time that I realized it was up, it was flowering. So I need to do some research and find out what it does to the taste of cilantro once it's flowered, if it's still edible or tastes good enough to do something with. This is my strawberry patch, so lots of sunflowers in here as well. None are blooming quite yet. And I still haven't gotten any strawberries except for the couple that I got last month. So I don't think they're gonna do a whole lot this year. I think when winter comes, I'm gonna cut back a lot of these and try to thin out this bed a little bit so that it hopefully does better next year. So over here where the cilantro is, I had a bunch of garlic planted and it was looking super great, and then all of a sudden it just died. So I did some research on it, and I think what happened was that I let this become too overtaken with weeds and other plants, and garlic really does not like being touched at all. So I think what I'm gonna do is leave it in for a whole nother year and see what happens, because at this point, like, the garlic that I'm picking up is like little cloves like that big, basically what I planted. So I'm thinking worst case scenario, nothing does better next year and it's a total wash. But if I harvest it now, I'm not going to do anything with it anyway because it's so small that it's unusable. So I'm thinking it can't hurt to leave it in and see what happens. I did plant some elephant garlic, and I know that they say elephant garlic doesn't reach its normal big size until the second year that it's in. So we'll leave it in and see what happens. This is over by my tomatoes, and this is where I had onions planted. And I think the same thing happened that happened with the garlic, that weeds just overtook this place, this little patch, and no matter how many times I pulled the weeds, they just came back so quickly that I couldn't keep them off of the onions. So again, I'm gonna leave them in the ground and see what happens, hope for the best. So that's a tomato right there, and then I'm thinking that's a jalapeno plant right there. There's a tomato back there that gets way too much shade, and then there's a 5-color pepper there, cayenne pepper there, 5-color here, and then a tomato. This is my poblano plant that I bought from a greenhouse. So this one I did not start myself, and it's doing amazing. And then the rest of these tomatoes are doing really good. They have overtaken, which is great. That's what I want. And there are lots of tomatoes on them. So I thought that there weren't any when I did my garden tour last week, but there definitely were. I just didn't see them right off the bat. So there's quite a few tomatoes on here that are ripening up right now. So that's always good. I'm super excited about it. Hopefully they produce a lot. I don't even remember what I planted in here because there were so many different varieties that I threw in here. So we'll see what happens. This is my back garden area. So these are my pumpkins that are doing amazing. So there's 4 pumpkins in here, and there's quite a few pumpkins on here already that are starting to change colors, so that's cool. There's 3 different kinds of sugar pumpkins in here, and then there's a blue pumpkin in here as well. So my sweet corn back there isn't doing super fantastic. We'll see if anything comes of that, but my popcorn is doing amazing. There are some stalks that are up to my head. I'm gonna go. So this is standing next to the popcorn. It's doing great. Super tall, exciting. So then there's some tomatoes and peppers. This is a cayenne bell pepper. I bought that one from a greenhouse. And then that is a purple jalapeno that one of my friends gave me. So then there's quite a few more tomatoes and quite a few more weeds over there that I need to take care of soon. And then I have, these are the black turtle bush beans. So basically the way you grow dry beans, they're the same thing as green beans, but instead of picking them when they're tender and young, you pick them when they're old and dry. So basically I'm not going to do anything with these guys until the end of the season when all the pods are dry. So over on my patio with all my containers, these are the purple sweet potatoes and a tomato plant in here. So the purple sweet potatoes are doing great. They're starting to climb up this trellis, and I just have these little clips that I got from the Dollar Tree that I use to clip them onto the trellis to help support them as they grow up. And then my flowers in my little tiered garden, they fell over again, so they're in a little bit of a shock, but they're doing all right. And then Hank, and then this is my lavender. And then over here are my blackberries, which need to be tied up to the trellis as well. So we'll get those tied up soon. And these are some hibiscus that I started in a pot on our table out back. So these I have tried to start inside several times and they do terrible. And then I have to move them outside before they're ready because they have such a bad bug infestation, or they're next to death anyway. So I decided I would try to start them outside and bring them inside. We'll see what happens. These are supposed to be hibiscus that you can use the leaves for tea. So we'll see what happens. This is my pot of daisies that has become a pot of wonderberries. And then my sunrise lupine, still not looking super great. And then my pink celery. And then over on the other side of the stairs, we have more purple sweet potatoes and tomatoes. So these are still looking good. Not as good as the other ones. These ones get less sun. And I've been thinking about moving them, but at the same time, I don't have a spot for them anywhere else. So as long as they're still surviving over here, we'll just leave them over here and hope that they produce something. So then on the other side against our garage is my ginger plant and my lemon tree that has so much new growth. I'm so excited. And then more potatoes, that these are looking very, very sad. We'll see if they produce anything. I've decided that I'm not going to do potatoes in laundry baskets next year. I really hate the way it looks, and I don't think that it's going to produce enough for me to make it worth it. I think I would rather just use grow bags or plant them in the ground, because I really, really hate the way the laundry baskets look. Over on the side of my house, this is my mulberry tree that once again has lots of ripe berries that need to be picked. It's been so hot lately that I just haven't done it. I might pick a few this morning, enough to make wonderberry, or not wonderberry, mulberries. These are mulberries. I might pick enough this morning to make wonderberry coffee cake or crumble cake. So up in the front garden bed, these are my raspberries and scarlet runner beans. These are cosmos right here. And then my lilies and sunflowers. And it has once again gotten taken over by vineweed. So my mother-in-law came over this weekend and pulled some of it, and it's already back again. So I need to pull the rest of that and figure out something I can spray it with maybe. On the other side of the house, these are my other raspberries, cosmos and lilies. And this is the bathtub in the front yard that's full of flowers. So I have a beautiful zinnia. I'm not sure what kind that is. I don't remember planting any up here, but I probably did. Zinnias are my favorite flowers to grow. So we'll see what happens, or what that is. Then there's some marigolds. and then another beautiful colored lily blooming. And then my daylily is finally bloomed, so those are looking fantastic as well. Thanks so much for joining me today, guys. See you next time.